Hi everyone, welcome back to Magazine Monday. We are still in the Crafts Beautiful issue 327 winter special. We're going to be doing this card right here. It looks fairly straightforward. We need two stamps, some paper. Got the paper right here. And since this is like pink on pink, I just think maybe I can do a tone on tone as well. But what I'm going to do is cut this in half and cut it down a little bit and just put it right on top of the card itself. So I have 3 cards. We're going to try to make 3 cards. And I think that'll be fine. So it's going to be a little bit smaller. Let me go ahead and cut it down to size. Okay, so this is our card front. Let's see how it's going to look on the card base. And it looks like Brandy actually cut it pretty decent this time. So let's go ahead and marry them all up. I went through some of my things this morning that I had, and I was just like, oh, you need to get rid of a few things and some markers that I had purchased, and I was just like, I don't like these markers. Okay, so I got out my Tim Holtz platform. You can use whatever stamping tool you have, and this is the stamp that you need. Although on this, you know, it does look a lot bigger, right? It looks huge in comparison to that. So I was like, did they add another stamp? And so I was looking, I was like, do I want to like throw something else like that I probably could? And I'm thinking, no, Brandy, like this piece right here may be able to, you know, be added somewhere, but we're just going to leave it, you know, well enough alone. And I'm not going to stamp in black ink, which is what they did. I'm going to use one of my archival colors. And I may use black soot for it, but I'm thinking I want to use another color only because this is a vintage rose stamp. And, you know, she says, Helen tells us to use, when you stamp in black ink on color paper that you want to color. I don't want to color this. I think I may come back once I get it done and see if I can't get my white. I'm nervous about saying this, even as I'm thinking about it. My white acrylic paint and sprinkling it on there, only because, you know, I could screw that up at any given moment. In this situation, I feel like this would be something fun to try because it is just paper. So let me go ahead and decide on what color ink I want to stamp up. I do have my paper at 2.5 inches because I don't want it to put it all the way to the side. I like to kind of measure it out because what I'm going to do is once I stamp this, I'm just going to turn the paper so the other image is right there. So I'm going to always leave this stamp on that side. I hope that makes sense. So that's the first stamp impression, and I think that the vintage ink, the black soot ink, looks a lot different when it comes to how it might look if I were to use regular alcohol ink, regular black ink of any sort. So let's see. Okay, so this is how it looks completed. I'll do one full one for you all. So this paper has some kind of texture on here. You can see it versus these papers. They're smooth. So, you know, when you get a grab bag of paper, you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes you, it's like a box of chocolates, right? You never know what's going to be in the thing. So you have to be ready for whatever it is. And I think that texture paper does add a lot to projects. I've seen a lot of people do a lot of amazing things with their texture paper. I kind of just use it like it's regular paper. I don't differentiate between it unless it's like a burlap kind of paper where you're doing something very specific, or, you know, like true texture paper. So there you go. And if you want to make these pieces darker, because I can see it's still some ink on the stamp, I don't even reapply. You see right here some ink and right there some ink. I just kind of go back and push my finger right on those spots where I see that the ink didn't lift up. Not to start a controversy, because that's not what I'm about when it comes to crafting. I mean, life is already stressful enough for some people, and sometimes it's more stressful than for others. But I'm in a lot of Facebook groups only because I feel like it's good that I can learn from people, you know, and I can make friends, etc., etc. But I really, 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 really dislike the stamp. And see how much darker it got when you apply more ink, and that's what I did. I applied more ink. to it. So I'm just going to turn it around. And remember I said I had it at 2.5. So now I'm just going to put this right here. And even though I trust that the ink is probably dry, I don't want to put it on there just because I don't want to be mad at myself for smudging the ink. Even though we're having a good ink section, a good stamping session, I don't want to. And I think that the yellow just brings out the flowers a lot more. I'm not sure why, because it looks like maybe the green doesn't look as good as the yellow did, in my opinion. But I'm slightly biased on both colors. Green is one of my favorite colors. This mint color, I'm not a huge fan of it when it comes to stamping on it. I prefer to just use it in another situation, but no worries. But the yellow, I think the yellow really, look at it, it's just so pretty. But everyone's going back and forth about the stamping platforms, like, oh, I use this one, I use that one, and I just think that it's kind of crazy, because I'm going to apply the same, no, I think I'll leave it just like that. Okay, after looking at the card, it looks like they had a card open from the side. So I'm sure this is not an American A2 size card, because it's square versus our rectangle. So what I'm going to do, and I wish I had paid more attention to that, because I would have put this stamp on this side versus this side, because I was thinking that it was a landscape card versus portrait. So we're going to go ahead and do some portrait and landscape. We're going to try and maybe we'll just do all landscape cards. So yeah, I'm going to stamp out, and I didn't want to use celebrate. I'm not sure why I'm anti whatever sentiment I'm going by for the card. So what we'll do, we will I think let the friendship blossom may be a good sentiment. And I don't even know why I do this so much, but I'm like, okay, I can envision it through the card, through the paper, which is a bit bizarre. But anyway, so I'm going to do this one in green with the green one. I guess I don't like this card that much, so I'm okay that it looks like that's so crazy that it looks like the example card that we're going from. So they're going back and forth about what stamping like the lady asked a question, I'm using a Tim Holtz stamping platform and I can't get it to work right. What should I do? And we are so much internet gangsters when it comes to how we feel about stuff, and for most part, when you're confronted face to face, you have nothing to say. I'm just rocking just a slight amount, and there you go. It looks pretty decent. No issues. So everybody was like, oh, I have this and I have that, and I won't mention any of the other tools, because it's just, I feel at one point I felt like it was very petty. But we are in a petty society right now, definitely petty over silly things. And this one says, have a beautiful day. And the ones I really want to use, they have flowers already attached to them. So that's probably why they had that celebrate in there. I'm not going to rock this one only because I feel like that little arrow or whatever the decoration under have a beautiful day would not come. It would look weird. So there we are with that. I'm not sure what's going on with this camera. I know I have a lot of junk in the background. And I'm just going to keep talking because I really want to, address this. I feel like if you have a stamping platform and you use it, good for you. Bottom line. I don't think that anyone should tell you that your platform is inferior or someone stole it, or, I just feel like no one asked you, and I'm quite sure no one asked me, but I'm just speaking my opinion and saying how I feel, because I have more than one stamping platform, and I haven't pulled out the other ones yet, but I will. And so me being the person that I am, I wrote a comment. I said, please elaborate on what actually is your problem with your stamping platform. A lot of people just telling you that you need to spend more money and buy another one, or, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what, what do you have issues with, so the people that actually use the Tim Holtz stamping platform and like it and not crapping on it can actually help you. I'm going to put Stop and Smell the Roses because these are all roses. Yay for roses. And I think either the post got deleted because some of these admins feel like they're admin gods and they just delete people's posts. And you know that in this point, some of these people were very inappropriate with their comments. All right, so I cut down another card that was in that little kit, and this is going to go on the inside. So I just want to do that because I haven't been putting the whites in. Like I say, I'm going to do, it's always an afterthought. So now I'm just going to fold it on the crease. And you all know how to do this already if you make cards. And if it's your first time here, thank you for hanging out with me. I tend to talk and chat with you all as if you're in the room with me. And, you know, I'm quite sure if I had a friend in the room with me, she would say, yeah, that makes no sense. I need to do something. Okay, I just used my scoreboard to score the crease because it's creased, but it's, you know, I struggle with that even though they're prefabricated. Let's see. And so this one right here, I told you was texture, so you just got to be careful with that. And let's go ahead and apply these down. And all I want to do is just put it right here. And I think the best method, I really want to pop it up so it looks popped up, but I don't know. I have 3 cards to decide from. Let me look at the reference. I'm gonna use regular tape. So, you know, I feel like people always want to say what they feel, because, you know, we act on emotion a lot more than we like to admit. A lot of times, a lot of stuff that we say and do is more emotional versus fact-based, any type of research to be put into things or anything. And we're just like, oh yeah, because, you know, sometimes we jump on the bandwagon of the situation, and I feel like some instances is not necessary. So, like, you know, the comments were like, oh yeah, this was done and this was done and this and that, and I'm just like, okay, we don't need, you know, it's not, you know, it's not needed. And that's in anything, any situation. And I'm starting to think I just need to get out of that group, because I'm not sure if I want to call them super petty, but they are petty. And like I was saying about admins, I feel like some people, and it's a free group, so it's not like I don't feel like they're getting paid. I don't think they're getting paid. But I think sometimes they just, you know, whatever power that they have, if you were in a famous Facebook group, let's call it Scissors, you know, I don't know if it's a Facebook called Scissors, but everyone uses your Facebook group. You have a list of all the scissors out there, and it's just so popular. And, you know, as an admin, not even the person that created, but just an admin, someone that has been allowed to act as a mod, says, oh, I don't like this. I don't like your tone. And, you know, they delete your post, or they give you a strike or a warning. It's just, you know, it's all perception. I feel like right now, as we are in such a PC community, a PC world, where everyone's feelings gets hurt so easily. Everything is, oh, you said this and that bothered me, or you didn't speak to me, or, you know, you spoke to Jim and John was standing there and now John's offended. You know, I watch a lot of these social things, and a lot of people are talking about how people are getting offended for other people. Now, I'm highly sensitive to a lot of things. And so I try not to express my belief of what I think is right or wrong when it comes to certain things, because some things is just crazy. I'm going to go ahead and burnish this down. And other things, you know, it's just common sense. You know, you treat people like you want to be treated. If you want people to treat you with respect, you respect people. And that's the motto that I have on life. But when you give someone a little bit of a piece of power, you can see how they've been hungry for that for so long, and it just goes to their head and they turn into butt heads, in my opinion. And, you know, my coworker, my big roommate, guess we are co-workers in the parenting game, we were discussing that because, you know, he's a truck driver, so his coworker is out sick, so he's driving alone this week. I'm going to do the inside first. I'm just going to put some glue on the back. And even though I have 4 pieces, I only have 3 cards, so let me just slide this out the way. And you know, he called the lady, and she called his dispatcher, and she says, oh, we don't have any loads for you, so just go here and do that. And I told him, you know, he was really upset about it. I was like, and you know, by me being in a managerial position or a supervisor position, I told him, I said, I don't know why I put that much glue on there. I don't know, running my mouth. You don't need that much glue at all. And I'm going to do it this way, since all the cards are going to be landscape versus portrait, because Brandy didn't pay attention to it. And you know, I just kind of plop it in. I rarely measure it to be accurate, and I always struggle with the straightness, but we're just going to move on from that. And you know, I told him, I said, some people, and he, you know, the worst thing you can give someone that's angry is a survey about the people that they're working with, because you're going to go a little bit ballistic on them. I apologize for that noise. This is another texture piece of paper that was in the stack. And you know, people are gonna go and say exactly how they're feeling, versus if you give them a full meal and they were very nice to you, you may be like, you know what, I'm gonna give Susie a chance because Susie's trying. But when Susie sucks, you're just gonna be like, I don't like you, Susie. Or Tim or John or Brandy or whoever, right? So, and I told him, I said, you know, and he said that the communication was an issue. And in this instance, my boyfriend is horrible with communication. Like, he's thinking something, but he won't say it. And then I'm more of a communicator, as you all can tell. So I was just like, well, you know, maybe this and this. And I told him in this instance, he was actually right. I rarely side with him when it comes to work things, because he's crazy. But I told him, I said, you know, in this instant, you are absolutely correct. She should have did this. And I asked him how many people was she supposedly, you know, managing or whatever. And he tells me, and I was like, yeah, she was definitely wrong. She wasn't tracking it properly. And I don't think he realized that, you know, I was siding with him. Because usually I'm just like, okay, babe, yep, you're right. But when he's wrong, I'm like, no, that's incorrect. So now I'm just going to take this tape off and put it on the back. So yeah, you know, communication is a big thing. I am going to try to get this as straight as possible. So let me hold my breath really quickly. I'm joking. Not really, but I am a little bit, I guess. Nope. You know, whenever you communicate better, I think it makes people want to stay with your team a lot longer. I should have moved this over a little bit, but hey, the green one has been the flawed card from the very beginning. I'm not denying that. You know, I do like green, and I think I will pay homage to it by getting some pistachio ice cream. Make sure I got that on the right side, because I don't want to put the writing portion on the incorrect side. That would hurt my feelings so badly. Okay, so now we have this one, and let's try to learn from our mistakes in the previous card, Brandy. I really should just put a little tick mark on these things, but no. Now why? I like to walk on the wild side. So, again, it's a little bit off. Not too bad this time. It's crooked, a little crooked, but that's okay. This is another reason why I have, you know, I teeter-totter between glue and adhesive. And if I had put it on foam dots, I could have just picked this up and moved it back over there. Let's hope the yellow, let's hope I get the yellow one almost perfect. Because I'm not striving for perfection. I'm striving for something that I like. And I'm okay with it, a little bit of crookedness. All right, let's see. I'll take it. Good enough. So, you know, in closing, I think that people just need to be more aware of what they're saying. No one cares what platform you're using as long as you're making and creating beautiful work. No one cares about that kind of stuff, you know. Because some of the stuff they said was just really downright rude. I'm just like, ugh, really? Are you serious right now? Are you being that rude? All right, so this is our project, and upon closer inspection, when I had paused it, it looks like they took like a off-white card and even inked the edge, kinda, because right here on this side, you can see it has some pink on there, but I thought this would be cool. I am not going to sprinkle any white on there because I like it just like it is. I was going to, actually, I am going to do something. Not to be too distracted, I just put a little bit of glitter on one area. Oh, I missed a spot. I missed this spot. I'll fix that. Maybe not. I don't know. But this is it. Stop and smell the roses. Have a beautiful day and celebrate. Although these kind of look like sympathy cards in my opinion. Celebrate life. Definitely looks like a sympathy card. And this color reminds me of a funeral program. Maybe that's why it's so not for me. But anyway, I do like mint green. I want to say thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think. And until next time, happy crafting.